What a way to connect this song to the movie today, Fright Night Part 2. Tim, how's it going? The mic is working. I see chords. I see the shit on the back wall. I see the gorgeous face, the traps, the jaw. Jesse Ventura would be proud.
You would be.
Everything's looking good on your end.
I appreciate it. Things are looking great.
And the mic ain't working. Your mic.
It stopped again? Are you serious? Hold on.
You're back. There you are.
This is just gonna have to be in my face.
I had you turned down. That was my mistake. I turned you down when I turned the YouTube song down. So that was my fault. I'm sorry.
Okay.
I really don't know what I'm doing here.
I don't know either, but we're gonna do this.
Here is the question for you on October the 7th.
Yep.
2024.
Yep.
How lackadaisical we've been with this marathon as opposed to other years. Do you see us making it to the 31st?
Absolutely. We've never not made it.
Well, okay, but for people to get a look behind the curtain, everything that can go wrong has gone wrong. Not only do we not have participation from most people because of life, but the people that I have in reserve won't even answer the phone. Boz, Jay. Do we have anybody else?
I mean, what's the deal?
You? You're always there. You're the man.
Do they give you a reason?
No, they just don't even text back. It's what makes it great.
Those things. Okay.
I'm not even going to text back. I'm just going to leave it. I'm going to leave. I don't have the red thing on because I don't want to know, but they're leaving me on red.
You need to add some type of disclaimer to the intro when their segment pops up.
These people don't give a shit about the show. Here's a bigger question, Tim.
Yep.
On October the 2nd, we have a live riffing planned. Did we do that show?
We totally did. It was great.
Wednesday, October the 2nd, we were supposed to watch some type of Frankenstein movie, and I picked one out just for you, Tim. Mm-hmm. Was it just me and you watching the movie, or did Jay and Blake join us?
No, I remember Jay was there.
Okay, you remember Jay being there. I don't remember anybody but me and you.
No, Jay was there. You know how he likes the watch-alongs. He's down for that.
Okay.
He'll answer the text for that. He did. He answered it, and we did the show.
All right, let's get back in the Wayback Machine. Okay, Tim, I know you don't like horror movies, but do you like October in general? Like, I know I drag you through this horror movie marathon stuff, but in general, do you even like October with the Halloween decorations and stuff, or is it just something you don't give a shit about?
I'm extremely neutral because none of it affects me at all. Like, my life doesn't change, except that you can go into Dollar General and buy just bucket loads of candy in the bags just to have around the house. And that's nice.
What is your favorite Halloween candy? Your go-to top 5. Let's do it.
Those, so the miniature Mr. Good bars were always clutch.
Yes.
Those would get cleaned out first. Twizzlers. I was big on Twizzlers.
Plastic, no.
The Rolos, if you ever ended up getting the Rolos.
YOLO?
Like they would throw them in the individual little things. You had to unwrap every single tiny one to enjoy a Rolo, but that was legit. God, I guess 4 would be Tootsie Rolls. And I can't think of a 5. I'm out after those 4. After those 4, I'm giving it away.
Well, the go-to, I mean, your Mr. Good bar thing, those little miniature candy bars.
Right.
You're right. They're clutch. It doesn't matter if it's the Hershey, if it's it's not Crunch. What's that red one called? It has all the little shit in it, and it's like real crunchy. What'd you say?
Kit Kat?
No, I know a Kit Kat. I weigh 400 pounds. Crackle, or something like that. Yes, that's it.
I don't even think they make those bars anymore. They just sell those little miniatures. They keep throwing them in with the Halloween bags.
It doesn't even matter if you like the Hershey, the big Hershey bars. The little miniature ones are great. Now, I prefer the king size Mr. Good bar. Those are great. M&Ms, you can't go wrong with M&Ms. I'm also a sweets guy. I'm not a sweet. I don't know what to say. I like Skittles. If you can give me some damn Skittles,
okay, I'm in. Skittles would be 5. Skittles would be 5 because you get more than just a little bit with the bag of Skittles.
And what's the little square things called? I'm not on my game tonight.
I'm starving now. We got to stop. I'm about to go buy just a bucket load of candy.
All right, so tonight we're talking Fright Night Part 2.
What's the worst candy? Hold on, I want to know what the worst is. If that was what your go-to was, what was the I can't believe they're giving this out?
See, I don't like Twizzlers. I think it tastes like plastic.
So that would be it?
Well, no, I mean, look at me. You think I'm turning much stuff down?
Are the individually wrapped little taffy things with the different colored centers?
Oh, that is the worst. No. Yeah,
and
no
so
taffy.
That would be like the bottom.
Yeah, let's look up worst Halloween candy. See if we agree with it. All right, this is candystore.com. It's got to be great. It's Candy Store. Oh, wait, they want me to order candy. Back out.
I was going to say, that sounds corporate.
All right, let me get out of that.
Against the machine here.
Let's go to Reddit. They always got good stuff. Did you know right here is the candy? Did you know 9/11 was an inside job?
That's the candy Reddit?
That's the candy Reddit. Hold on. Somebody said raisins. No, I don't like this one either. We got to get like for sure.
No one's ever given me that.
What, raisins?
Where we're from.
Dude, I've been like on a Raisin Bran kick to try to be able to more, and it's working spectacular.
Dude, Raisin Bran is great.
Yes. All right, this guy. Okay, let's start from the top right here. Number 22, wax lips. Do you remember that? Those. I thought it always makes when people like.
I never got those, nor did I ever think that.
Wax lips. They got Almond Joys. Is this best or worst? Hold on.
Yeah, that's a garbage.
No, it's his worst.
Nah, not a good list.
Almond Joy. I never was a fan of the Almond Joys, but later in life I started liking almonds, and now I like Almond Joy. I'm not a big coconut guy either.
Yeah, they're great. It's a shame they just don't give you a lot.
All right. Yeah, this list is total bull crap because they got Three Musketeers, number 20. It's great.
No, that would be in the mishmash after the top 5. The Three Musketeers are on the top of that.
Yeah, see, they're ranking like quality candy from worst. I don't know. They got hard grandma candies like the butterscotch and stuff like that. I've broken a many teeth there. They got sweet tarts, bootleg gummies, candy corn,
sweet tarts do suck. In their defense, that's probably one of the worst.
Your favorite, Fireballs, that's the drink anyway. Tootsie Rolls.
No, those are always solid.
Let's see. Pixie Sticks. Never ate it. See,
no, those are terrible.
I'm a guy that's like, I hate change, which is why the show looks exactly the way it did 8 years ago. I stick with the same Bazooka Gum. Fun Dip. I love Fun Dip as a kid.
I never liked the Fun Dip. It was too messy.
Hot Tamales. Now that sucks. That's what you was talking about.
That was good stuff. Hot Tamales. Yeah. Dude, I never had anyone give me decent stuff like that.
Non-Laffy Taffy. That's that taffy you were talking about.
Yeah, anything that's just in that clear white wax paper that looks like it was hand twisted, garbage.
Bit O' Honey.
That stuff actually ruled. Bit of
Double Bubble. Smarties. My daughter loves Smarties. I can't go against Smarties. Anything that isn't candy, which leads me into, remember back in the 80s, Tim, was your parents like my parents, and anything homemade you were given as trick or treat, they threw it away?
They never even bothered to look through my candy.
If some old lady or whatever would
put the razor blades in it, then it was just going to happen.
I don't think that ever happened. I think we've talked about that before. It was just a mass hysteria.
It's one of those things that, like, you know how every town has the creepy white van scare? You know, like be on the lookout, and it'll get serious enough where schools will have to like be on the look. Like it'll be a special deal. People will have to go out of their way a little bit. And I don't know if that, like, when's the last time that's really happened? Kids, are you going to do it in a creepy white van? Are you going to have so much like no self-awareness that you wouldn't get that's the biggest tip off?
When me and you were in elementary school, and I know you're way younger than me, it was like 3rd or 4th grade for me. It really happened. Like over at Glade, like a bus driver got off the bus and had to fight 2 guys off that got out of a car and tried to kidnap somebody. And that's what.
Do you know that though?
It was in the paper, front page.
I want to know what their side of the story is. They were probably there to pick up their kid.
They just wanted to the kid. They didn't want to. What's the word I'm looking for? Cut him up and sacrifice him.
What was it? And you said it was a white van?
Yeah, it was a white van because they put out the white van alert because my dad's crew drove a white van to work every day, and they were like pulled over multiple times because it was like a crew of weirdos in a van, and they pulled them over from work.
That's awesome.
Anyway, let's get into it. We got to, because I got to go to bed. Fright Night Part 2. When you think of Halloween, what is the first stereotypical Halloween creature you think of?
Frankenstein.
All right, then.
Or Ghost. 1A and 1B.
What was it? Oh, Ghost. Yeah, Ghost is good. Then you got the witch. You got vampires, and that's what Fright Night is. It's about vampires. Let me catch you up on the first
number 5 on the list. Vampires. We made it there.
Tim, Fright Night Part 1, Charlie Brewster lived, he was a high school student. People moved in next door, and by people, I mean 2 attractive middle-aged men moved in, and he witnessed some weird shit going on next door, mainly Jerry Dandridge, who was the main guy that bought the house, screwing and killing people over there. He quickly realized that he was living next door to a vampire. Jerry Dandridge, instead of just Dandridge, whatever his name is, instead of just killing him, screwed around with him, threatened him. His mother had already invited the vampire in so he could come in anytime he wanted, and he let Charlie know that. Charlie goes to the local UHF television station and finds the guy who hosts Fright Night, and he's like there in every,
you said that, and in every movie where there's a vampire, they can't stop it. They just can't stop messing with them instead of actually doing anything. Like in any other movie, they're just kind of going to, get right to it. But vampires, man, when you're the smartest, like Halloween monster guy, then that's what it gets you.
He goes down to the local public access television station where there's a guy that's playing Peter Cushing on a Friday night horror show. And he tells him that there's vampires. He gets that guy involved. That guy's on the tail end of a career that is complete shit. He gets fired. He ends up seeing no reflection with the guy, and it freaks him out. There's a lot of cool aspects in this first Fright Night, Tim, and the fact that they let you into a little bit of vampire lore that they never explain. Like when Peter Vincent, which is the Peter Cushing guy's name, first holds a cross up at Jerry Dandridge. Jerry Dandridge laughs at him and goes, "Get that out of my face, old man. It doesn't work unless you have faith in God." So, I mean, it's not like you can just go a random. Like, you got to have faith. And then, like, you get to see when he starts to really believe in God because it starts to hurt the vampire at that point. It ends with Charlie killing the vampire. He burns up. At the end of it, Peter Vincent's got his show Fright Night back, and everybody's good to go, except for Charlie's best friend who got bit and turned into a werewolf and got killed. You hear him like laughing at the end of it, which when me and Blake watched this and reviewed it, we're like, okay, this is setting up Evil Ed versus Charlie in Part 2. Fast forward 4 years later, they make Fright Night Part 2. Evil Ed, his best friend, doesn't return because he's making a movie called 976 Evil. The director does not return because he's making Child's Play. The love interest from the first one, who plays Marcy Darcy in Married with Children, doesn't come back because she's in the middle of Married with Children at probably its height.
That's a pretty good track list. Like 50, yeah, 2 of those 4 people hit it pretty big.
Yeah,
that's pretty good.
Well, not to mention the fact that Evil Ed, I can't remember his name in real life. Not only did he go on to do 976 Evil, which was directed by Robert Englund, directed by Freddie, which is, why he went to do it. But he ended up getting into gay porn later on. So it wasn't a real big deal for him after that. Yeah. 3 years after the events of Fright Night, Charlie, and notice I'm not even reading off any notes, Charlie is in a psychiatrist's office. This is where the complaining starts.
Does he dress up as like evil creatures in the gay porn? Like, is it like gay monster porn? Because that's totally a thing.
That would be awesome. I think it's just the fact he had a huge.
You know what? We'll pull something up and riff on it, live stream it later. Anyway.
Live stream one of his pornos?
Yeah.
The biggest story of this movie, Tim, is Fright Night Part 2. It's the story of why it never got a major theater release. Okay. So there was a guy named Jose Melendez, and he was the one in charge of the movie theater. Oh, my bad. He was the one in charge of the movie studio. Great review tonight. He was in charge of the movie studio, and he was murdered by his two sons, the Melendez twins. And because he was shot and killed, he was never able, or the studio never set a major release for this movie.
Are you talking about the Menendez brothers?
What am I? Did I say Melendez or Menendez?
Wait, did you say Melendez?
I said Melendez, but
brothers that we're talking about.
Yeah, but I meant Menendez.
So it's not the same people, though.
Hold on, let's restart. Tim,
are they the same people?
Hold on, let's start.
Okay.
Tim,
right.
The biggest story with this movie is what happened behind the scenes. Jose Menendez was in charge of distribution for this movie. His twin sons killed him with a shotgun. The Menendez brothers.
The famous Menendez brothers that the trial was made. Okay, awesome. I mean, not awesome, but there's a connection to something.
Yeah. So the movie never got a wide theatrical release. It got like a couple of theaters in the major cities, and it didn't do bad, but it definitely didn't make a profit, which didn't lead to a part 3, which this franchise could have easily have gotten. The first movie made a ton of profit. The second movie, if it had got a proper theatrical release, would have made a profit and would have led to a third movie, but it didn't because the Menendez brothers killed their father. Now, let's get back to the actual movie. Charlie, after 3 years of therapy, has been convinced that it wasn't a vampire next door, that it was some kind of mass group hysteria, and that Jerry Dandridge was just a serial killer. Okay. And that Peter Vincent killed his best friend because he had caught the group hysteria and thought they were vampires. So my first complaint about this movie is, how the hell could Charlie not believe it was all real? There were multiple people involved in this. His girlfriend, his best friend. There's no such thing as group hysteria.
Horror movies love to do that because it's a cop-out. It's a writing cop-out. Like, why do we have to repeat some of this stuff that happened in the first movie? If you look at a franchise like Hellraiser, they do that with, like, the box. Like, that really didn't happen. Oh, okay. Or, freaking Phantasm 2. I mean, even his uncle's trying to convince him that, the idea that we're trying to tell you it didn't really happen when it happened shows up a lot.
I wish Reggie would have been in this movie. It made it a lot better. He's in college. He has a roommate that looks mid-30s. I looked this guy up. Apparently, he had AIDS. They had to make sure they had special prosthetics for when they looked like they broke the skin. He's got a new, I think, girlfriend in this movie. Much more feminine than Marcy from Married with Children in the first one. I really don't know what's going on with them because we're 10 minutes into the movie and Charlie's trying to date rape her outside of her dorm room. And she, has to slap him off of her. But then the next day, she's right. It's the 80s, though. I mean, people were expecting that. New vampire shows up. It's a chick named Regine, and she's got a crew. Okay. First off, we're going to dissect this crew. One, there's a that's trying to be like Prince, riding a skateboard, long hair, never speaks. First time we see this dude, rolls up through the fog on a skateboard, attacks, eats her neck right there in front of everybody.
Dude, that's crazy. A lot of editing in there.
The next two guys are pretty cool. We've got, I think his name is, let me look at my notes, Brian Thompson. You'll know him, Tim, poet didn't know it, as the bad guy serial killer from Cobra.
Okay, nice.
He was the big jacked up guy that Stallone has to face at the end of it. Now, I know what people in the comments are going to say. Ronnie, Cobra, it was like a huge cult. Spoiler if you've never seen Cobra. But, I mean, this was the main bad guy. He's also one of the guys that the Terminator kills at the beginning of the Terminator. They gave him the look of Brian Bosworth because the character's name is Boz, and it's based not off our Boz, but off the football player Boz.
So he's got the hair size like Buzz. That's pretty awesome.
No, that wouldn't be awesome. That would have been awesome, Tim. All he's got is a blonde flat top. He don't have the cool stuff on the side.
Oh, so okay. So it's like a ratty version. But you get the point. Like, you get what they were going for.
He eats bugs. He's like the driver. I guess he's like he's the one that keeps him safe. Jerry Dandridge had one of those in part 1 that watched him all day. He drives around. He picks bugs out of the grill of the car, and he has to tell the audience the name of the bug before he eats it. When we did the audio podcast, I popped Blake pretty good because he calls one of them like a kakakasaka, and he eats it. And what's crazy about this guy, Brian Thompson, his tongue is this wide. Whenever he sticks his tongue out, it's like a cow tongue. It goes this wide.
That is amazing.
Yes, you could hear every woman's. Then you got Uncle Rico from Napoleon Dynamite. I didn't bother to look up his name. He's played the homeless guy in Seinfeld. He played a werewolf in Monster Squad, and he plays a werewolf in this. He was also in like Real Genius as the guy living in the walls. It was a campus legend or whatever, and they found out he really lived in walls. But anyway, his hair in this movie, fantastic. It's mullet, but it's not really a skullet because he's got a piece of hair right here. And he actually gets Charlie's girlfriend to almost like him until he has to reveal himself. All of them get great deaths. Melting, head cut off. The Prince guy, they cover him in a blanket, like a blanket with a cross on it, like a holy blanket. They wrap him in that.
So he's just burning in it.
Yeah, he just melts away. The main bad guy, Regine, is Gary, what's this name? Jerry Dandridge's sister.
Okay.
And she has come back for revenge. She's some kind of interpretive dancer. She's famous. She wants to ruin Charlie's life. So Charlie cuts his neck preparing for a date at the beginning of the movie. She sneaks into his house or into his dorm room, bites his neck. He doesn't know it because he's already got the cut there.
Yeah.
So all throughout the movie, she keeps sneaking back into his dorm room and feeding off of him, turning him into a vampire slowly with the point that she's going to keep him and make his life miserable forever. Peter Vincent, whose career is rocking and rolling back on Fright Night, loses his job again. And guess who takes his job? Regine.
Weird Al.
The vampire. Weird Al. The vampire.
Like
So-
UHF?
Yeah. So he thinks she's a vampire. He tries to attack her live on air. They put him in the crazy house. They send Charlie to jail. The girl, bless her heart, who was trying to date Charlie is now, and plus she's going to be a psych major, by the way. There's multiple stupid arguments with Charlie where she's like, hey, you're too into all this bullshit. And like he walks away.
Are the good guys likable in this movie?
No. That's what one of my notes says Charlie is a complete idiot in this movie, from the fact that he believed psychiatrist with the mass hysteria to the way that he knows Regine is a vampire. And then he just says, okay, I'm just supposed to be imagining it.
Well, it seems it's hard in a horror movie when your bad guys are cooler than the good guys because it's so easy to do.
Yeah, I mean, it's really
just why all your sequels just celebrate the bad guys. Like you have the first one that's serious, whatever, and then in Puppet Master 2 through 6, you just want to see the puppets do cool stuff.
Oh man, the first movie was just so much cooler. The idea that an ancient vampire moves into the house next door to a teenager.
So with these though, man, you knew that going in.
And then part 2, Blake picked this movie. He knew it was terrible. The only cool aspect of this movie, his girlfriend can speed read. It shows her in the library because she's a psych major and she's always wanting to study. And like, she's got her hand and she's just going down like this every page. And like, she reads Dracula in the span of like 10 minutes.
I know some psych majors. I promise you they're not in the library just consuming knowledge. Those types of people do not become psych majors.
Well, her reading Dracula leads to something I never knew. Like when Uncle Rico finally reveals himself as a werewolf or / vampire, whatever the hell he's supposed to be. He's like a hairy vampire. Mm-hmm. She takes a rose and throws it at him. And apparently in Bram Stoker's Dracula, roses like repel vampires. That was something like I didn't know existed. So that is at least one cool thing that came out of this. The bottom line, Tim, is this.
You know what song would have been awesome for that scene?
What?
Kissed by a Rose by Seal.
I could fix this movie in 5 seconds because as it turns out, Tim, the psychiatrist that he's been seeing for 3 years is a vampire. It's Mr. Carosi from the beach season of Saved by the Bell. He was the naked fat guy on the subway in Seinfeld. He gets beheaded by the girl. Not beheaded. She stabs his heart and he falls on the train tracks and gets run over. But I can fix this movie. It shouldn't have been what they were trying to do. These vampires should have rolled in and took over every aspect of Charlie's life. From the psychiatrist, that's one good step. He's going to a psychiatrist that is a vampire. His girlfriend, Alex, should have been a vampire. Everybody in his life except Peter Vincent
is a vampire, right?
And they are just manipulating him over. And his roommate should have been a vampire. It should have been the reveal at the end that everybody you've been around the last couple of years have been vampires messing with you so they could ruin your life, and eventually when it was time, strike, turn you into a vampire, make you a slave. Instead, they just have the vampires roll in, and 2 days later everybody's getting eat and stuff like that.
Right. They needed some vampires to show up to then die, so that's what,
Yeah. And like all the vampire death scenes were cool. I thought this movie was way too gay in the fact that there was dance scenes, interpretive dance scenes, fog machines that we didn't need.
I mean, vampires do that stuff, though, right?
You're right about that. There was some cool scenes with the Bug Man and Uncle Rico and the guy that's trying to be Prince at the local bowling alley, just bowling over and over. But it sort of felt out of place because why is there a scene of them having fun? I don't think we got to know them enough, if that makes sense. Last problem I got with this movie, and I'm gonna have to look at my notes because I don't know this guy's name. They send Peter Vincent to the state institution, and while he's there, he runs into this. You see this long-haired guy running around, young guy, way out of place, and he's running around. He goes, "Oh, it's Peter Vincent, a Fright night. What's going on?" And like, it seemed like it should have been like a cameo for like a major star.
Yeah.
Like it was, they gave this guy way too much. And I looked it up. I said, I got to know who this is, because not only does this guy running around like making little just making little one-liners and stuff like that, but he's actually the reason Peter Vincent's able to escape is because like he just causes total hell. So it should have been somebody like a name that you drop in there for 5 minutes. This guy's name is John Richmond. And John Richmond is famous for being the best friend of Robert Downey Jr., which is how he got this role in this movie. He auditioned for the role that Uncle Rico got, so they gave him the role of this cameo psych guy that runs around and is supposed to be way cooler than he actually comes off.
Right, so, got you.
Yeah, like if you stick somebody like Robert Downey Jr. in 1988 in that role, that's great. Somebody like Anthony Michael Hall in that role, Judd Nelson in that role. Name me somebody else that had long hair in 88 that was actually
Emilio Estevez, throw him in there.
Yeah, anybody that was an actual star, you put them in that role, and I think it amplifies the movie a full point and a half. Can you believe Emilio Estevez was in this movie at the psych ward? It's crazy. The rest of the movie was shit. All right, Fright Night Part 2, Tim, 5.8.
I agree completely, 5.8. That's exactly what I was thinking.
Oh, so we're a weekend, Tim. October the 7th, 7 reviews down, 24 reviews to go, a watch along down, a riff. Tim, you said the riff happened. We'll see. Actually, the riff will happen. Me and you will be there. But it's who joins us is the other thing.
It's already happened.
All right. For everybody, thank you. Thanks, Tim, for jumping on. We'll see you guys tomorrow.
All right.
Where's my shit at? Hold on.
Take us out. Take us out.
Can't find it. Where's it at? I don't know,
man. Same spot it always is.
Oh, there it is.